everyone, welcome to Mushroom World Comics Indie Comic Reviews. My name is Andrew K. Shrippa, and today we'll be talking about a book that is a bit more controversial than the last one. We Can Never Go Home by Black Mask. On this channel, I will be reviewing various independently published comic books and lesser-known graphic novels. In doing this, I hope to expand my own understanding of these works, as well as spread awareness and any tips that may help other aspiring artists and writers in the process. This book, in my opinion, is a great example of a few different things. Some of them are good, and some of them, well, not as good. Not to question the ability of the creators involved, this video is entirely opinion-based and is in no way a statement about the ability of the artists and writers. So let's dive into what We Can Never Go Home has to offer. A few years ago, I worked at a comic book store called The Record Store. This is where I collected and was exposed to many of the comics that I know about. One day I stumbled upon the local Comic Shop Day 2015 special edition graphic novel for this series. Reading it is definitely an experience. The art has its quirks, the story has its quirks, but the interesting thing is, it's impossible to put down, and here's why. The story follows two teenage misfits that, well, can never go home. Without spoiling, at the end of the first chapter, something happens that changes their lives forever. Somebody dies, and the events that follow that cause our characters to fall deeper and deeper into trouble and getting mixed up with the wrong crowds. One thing that I have yet to mention is that a few of the characters have superpowers. The characters use their powers to help them get in and out of trouble. The book also contains heavy violence, gun usage, sexual themes, and drug references. The story takes a sharp turn at the end of every chapter. It can be very unpredictable, and this is one of its strengths. Where it falls flat is the execution of certain scenarios. Every chapter does something different and tries different things. It is very experimental, which is one of the two reasons why I really enjoy this book. Madison is the reason why this book works. She has super strength whenever she gets anxious or pissed off. Also, her eyes glow. She starts off as the pretty popular girl dating the star football player and works her ass off for scholarships. Over time, she learns to act on instinct and think for herself for a change. By the end of the story, she's a totally different character. It's unclear when or how she got her powers. She is an orphan and doesn't know her parents. There's no way to start off talking about Duncan other than to say that he is an idiot. His heart, however, is always in the right place, except when it's not. The biggest problem is when he tries to think. Whenever he is given the choice to make the right decision, he always finds a way to make things worse for himself and all of those around him. Duncan also claims to have superpowers himself. He says that he has the ability to kill anyone with just his mind. Spoiler warning for this next comment. It is unclear if he is actually telling the truth about having powers. He never uses them, but this could be for a good reason. Or not. There are several other characters in the story, but many don't stick around for more than a chapter. Some of the other characters with powers we see are Casey, our shapeshifter, this guy that's a straight up tank, this guy that looks like a tank, and these two guys that glow. Oh, and this guy floats, but he is never seen again. Panel composition is absolutely stunning in this book. That's what makes this book win. The artists knew exactly when to use full bleed, formal gutters, dynamic panel structures, two-page spreads, grids, and inset panels too. My favorite example of this is right in the first issue with this page here. This page uses 25 panels. Just look at it. Look at how each panel continues the conversation, and at no point does it seem that there are too many words on the page. Another great thing is when the characters are speaking off panel. Their text blocks are color coordinated so that way you know whose voice is whose, even though you can't see the speaker. Now, besides the strengths, this book definitely has some weaknesses. Sometimes proportions are a little off, leading the heads to look enlarged or just awkward. There's also some awkward censorship, especially on this one specific page. It almost feels like when they were drawing it out, They wanted the girl's leg to be a speck higher to cover up more. But as they were drawing, things didn't line up and they just left it. The reason this feels awkward is because it doesn't look like it was on purpose. Other panels handle this much better. Overall, this is a very interesting read. I'm not sure if this was intended to be a 5-issue run, or if it got cut short for various reasons. It almost seems like the creators were figuring things out as they went. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. There are some loose ends that didn't tie in anywhere, and story elements that weren't used, like Madison's real parents or her adoptive mother. This book represents to me what is possible in indie comics. I really do feel like this book is experimental in many different ways, and leads me to recommend that everyone should give it a read. And if you're a comic artist yourself, you should absolutely study the panel structure all throughout We Can Never Go Home. This series was released in 2015. The story is told in 5 issues that were bound together as a single graphic novel. If you like this book and want to read more like it, I would recommend other works published by Black Mask, including but not limited to 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, 12 Reasons to Die, and Black. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe and share it with your friends. If you have any questions, comments, or want me to review your comics next, please leave a comment down below. Here at Mushroom World Comics, we encourage you to never stop reading. Read as many comic books as possible, or why live just one life when you can live 1,000 lives?